Hello and welcome to day 2 of baking. Today we're making s'mores, where we start by melting 1 cup of butter in the microwave. I then plop that into the bowl, and then I start adding. I finish plopping it into the bowl after I get the stuff that's stuck to the bowl. I then started adding a cup and a half of brown sugar. I used a light brown sugar, but dark brown sugar would work too. Just to preface, this recipe is doubled because I was bringing it for a lot of people, but the original recipe only calls for half of what I'm using. So if you just wanted to make one for like a family event or for a household, it would be half a cup of butter and then 3/4 cups of brown sugar to start. It took me a while to get these spooned and leveled just because I was being a little exact. But that's what baking is about, being exact and measuring properly. But I was starting to get frustrated because there were crumb leaves on the floor and I didn't like it. After I finished that up, I put the stuff away after using it. Then walked back over to get our second ingredient. Or actually, no, that's a lie. We were creaming the butter and brown sugar together in a medium bowl on medium speed. The recipe said to do this until it looks kind of fluffy, I think it said. Can't remember the exact word they used, but I'm not sure. I've done this recipe many times before in the past, so I kind of just do it by memory. I just know what ingredients to put in at the right time and what to do with them. I can't remember the descriptive words they use though. Then go to the fridge and grab an egg. I think I need 2 eggs for this. Yep. 2 eggs, and then we put vanilla, I believe. I had this camera at a weird angle so I couldn't see. Vanilla. You're gonna need a full teaspoon if you're doing the double, half teaspoon if you're doing the single. Same with the eggs, 2 eggs if you're doing the double, and 1 egg if you're doing the single. Nope, that's a lie. That was 2 teaspoons. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Jeez, I can't remember this recipe. We then mix that up again until it forms like a consistency. It just says mix until it's mixed fully, but it also says don't overmix because that'll make it tough. At this point, to me, it was kind of looking like melted chocolate almost, which wasn't that bad of a texture. My brother said it looked like diarrhea, which is not a nice texture, but I see where he got it from. I then grabbed my flour. I needed 2 cups of it. I was running really low on flour, so I didn't know if it was going to cut it, but I did get exactly 2 cups of flour out of it. And then grabbed our graham cracker crumbs as well. We also need 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs. You can use proper graham crackers and then crumble them up in a food processor or a plastic bag with a rolling pin, but I prefer the store-bought crumbs to be easier, and you need 2 cups of each of those for the double recipe, 1 cup of each for the single. Also, side note, Chevy, this mic picks up so much noise I can't even move without it picking it up. Like, jeez. I don't know why. Even on like 2 times speed, it took me forever to get this flour in. Like, jeez. Can I speed it up a little bit? Finally, we're moving on to the graham cracker crumbs. We had a partially used one that I used all of, and then used the rest of the other one. They're just kind of graham cracker crumbs. What we're making, this part of the dish right now, is a graham cracker cookie dough kind of thing. And it'll be used as the crust, but also kind of a topping. I'll explain when we assemble it. For these levelings, I was a bit lazier just because I didn't really care by then. It was a little late. I'm kind of getting tired and not feeling it at the moment. I then moved on to salt. I can't see the measuring spoon I use, but I think it was a half teaspoon for a double and a quarter teaspoon for a single recipe. I'll put a picture up of the actual recipe used at the end of the video, but I can't see it while I'm doing the audio recording. We then mix all the ingredients together. I think I cut out me adding an ingredient. I'll check later. But yeah, I should really put the recipe in front of me when I do the recordings. It might make it a little bit better and easier to follow. It started to stick together like cookie dough. It looked a little rough, but it's supposed to be a little sticky. I'm not really sure why. It doesn't really help. It wasn't actually. It's not really sticky. It more just looks greasy because of the amount of butter we had in there. And it also looks crumbly because of the amount of dry compared to wet and all the graham cracker crumbs and not sifted proper flour. After this, we got sidetracked by my dog, who was squeaking on her ball outside. That's my mom throwing the ball up to me on the deck, and then me throwing it down to my little dog there. She's really cute. My dad was hating that squeak toy, but we love it. Now we're back. I got it over the camera. Since it's double, we're gonna split it in half and then split each half into a third. We're gonna get our two 9-inch greased baking pans. Also, by the way, oven at 350. Forgot about that. And then you put 2/3 into each one, and then you're gonna want to press it down with a spatula to cover each corner evenly, because this is gonna act as like the bottom crust for it, kind of like a pie crust almost. As I said, we're not trying to make this too neat, just enough to get a little crust on there so the people who don't love marshmallow can get a little piece without too much marshmallow being in there. Yeah, it's just kind of my way of getting everyone to have some for themselves. Then took a little bit, flaking it over the top, just throwing it in random places. They can overlap a little bit. It's not supposed to look pretty. It's not supposed to look like neat, just enough to get a little crust on there so the people who don't love marshmallow can get a little piece without too much marshmallow being in there. Yeah, it's just kind of my way of getting everyone to have some for themselves. Then took a little bit, flaking it over the top, just throwing it in random places. They can overlap a little bit. It's not supposed to look pretty. It's not supposed to look like a kind of pie top where it's purposely crossed or cut in certain places. This is supposed to be really messy, so when it bakes, the marshmallow can puff and ooze through the random cracks, so it looks more like a messy s'more that you'd eat camping. I do the same thing on the other side, making a bit of a crust along the outside, and then flaking it over the top. After I finish up the second one, I take the phone down to face me. We take a look at them. They look pretty cute. Um, this is me setting the phone in my waistband so I can use both hands. And then we take them, put them in the oven on the mid rack at again 350 degrees. I'm going to put them in for about 25 minutes, just so the top of the marshmallows can get lightly golden brown and the graham cracker cookie dough can cook through. I then start doing the dishes, and this is where I'll give my rating and reflection on the dish. Um, if you're able to make cookies, you're able to make this dish. It's a really easy one, and it's not super tough for beginners. The only thing I would give caution to is anything with the marshmallow fluff, because again, it's really sticky, kind of a mess. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it, anyone else would say, for the taste. Um, if you don't really like marshmallow, don't make this for yourself, but it's a great thing to bring to a party because people with a sweet tooth love this stuff. The dishes aren't too bad to clean up either, it's just a few measuring spoons, only one bowl, and then the spatula. When run under warm water, a rubber spatula, the marshmallow will usually just roll right off under warm water. Um, yeah, it's a pretty easy dish. Personally, I'd rate this a 2 out of 10 for taste just because it's very, very sweet. Um, and just again, I can't stand marshmallow. I don't know when it happened, but I can't handle marshmallow anymore. But anyone else would rate this an 11 out of 10. I'm not sure why they would, but that's their personal opinion, not mine. Oops. Yeah, the only reason this section is taking me a long time is because I'm a really slow dishwasher, apparently. But it really isn't that hard. It's just like a bowl, a few measuring cups, spoons, and then whatever other dishes you use. Like for me, I had that long time is because I'm a really slow dishwasher, apparently. But it really isn't that hard. It's just like a bowl, a few measuring cups, spoons, and then whatever other dishes you use. Like for me, I had that butter dish I used to melt the butter, and then the whisks from the mixer just go in the dishwasher. This is what they look like after they're done. Like I said, the marshmallow is gonna puff out of the cracks between the cookie because I golden brown. This was the next morning. I cut them into 12, and then wrapped them up for the dive meet because that's what I brought them to. Everyone loved them. They really liked the play on the white chocolate, which I'm super glad because I was so terrified it wasn't going to work out. But we got there in the end. Thank you for tuning in to my second episode of baking. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye bye. Long time is because I'm a really slow dishwasher, apparently. But it really isn't that hard. It's just like a bowl, a few measuring cups, spoons, and then whatever other dishes you use. Like for me, I had that butter dish I used to melt the butter, and then the whisks from the mixer just go in the dishwasher. This is what they look like after they're done. Like I said, the marshmallow is gonna puff out of the cracks between the cookie because I golden brown. This was the next morning. I cut them into 12, and then wrapped them up for the dive meet because that's what I brought them to. Everyone loved them. They really liked the play on the white chocolate, which I'm super glad because I was so terrified it wasn't going to work out. But we got there in the end. Thank you for tuning in to my second episode of baking. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye bye.